everyone. Welcome to Life at Love and Above.
I'm Kayla.
And I'm Lane. And today we wanted to talk about removing interference. Uh, so the way that this came about, this idea for this subject was I, as a chiropractor, I have been working on some different definitions for my business and some more like stories to tell people and this sort of thing. And I realized that removing interference from the nervous system, which then restores health and vitality, and you will feel better, and it restores information to every cell, system, tissue, and organ in the body, that this is really a metaphor for life.
Yeah. It truly is a metaphor for life. And as I was thinking about what does removing interference mean too, is, I keep hearing people say, and I do it myself too, all the time, is I feel connected or I don't feel connected. Feel connected or I don't feel connected. And we're always, always, always connected. We're never disconnected. We're here because we are connected. But it's the perception of connection that you're feeling. And that's where removing interference can be so beneficial. And the awareness of interference as well, because you're perceiving, it's like you turn on the radio. The radio is always connected, but then you turn it on. You begin to tune in, and you tune the dial until you have a clear channel. And that's what we do with our own bodies in many aspects, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, is what tune are you attuning to? Are you in the static where there's so much interference you can't hear anything? Or are you hearing very clear and crisp? But the connection's always there.
It's always there. Which then makes me think we don't rehearse these, by the way. We come up with the topic, we talk for about 2-3 minutes before we come on, and then we just let it flow. So I didn't think of this before, but that reminds me of the concept of innate intelligence, which is integral to chiropractic philosophy, that the body there has this innate intelligence, and so it's never doing anything wrong, which people just have a hard time wrapping their head around it. So I think one of the greatest examples, and I remember hearing this my first probably day of chiropractic college, was that really when you have a cold, your body's expressing health because it's doing what it's supposed to do. And you might think of food poisoning, and you not a fun experience for anybody, but the body's absolutely expressing that innate intelligence and getting the poison out of the body.
And the fever, that's what a fever is. You see kids and they're really strong and get these really dramatic fevers too, and their body is working so hard to bring back health. And I think we've lost that knowledge and true trust in the body's innate ability to heal. And I think that's one thing we all can really come back to, is our body is designed to be in health. And the more you can remove interferences through diet and lifestyle and your thought system and your neurological pathways, the more you start tuning your dial. And the more the body can make these little nuanced changes versus, going into chronic pain or autoimmune disease, or these things where they get really dysregulated too. But the innate ability of the body, it's designed perfectly to heal.
It really is, and it's designed perfectly. So it might be a strong statement or feel like a really strong statement that it doesn't ever make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, as what you just said, so there's these diseases, but the body is making an attempt to get back to health. And that maybe the concept here fits a bit of it's telling you, and it was telling you for a long time before you headed into the aspect of this dis-ease that's so apparent right now, and maybe you ignored it, or you didn't know what to do, or whatever. It's just so intelligent, it's so smart.
Well, it's
And
also fascinating too. I always say, we put so much emphasis on the physical world, but we ignore the body. The body is ignored. And it truly is on all aspects, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, it is the most intimate relationship that you will ever have in your entire life. And we never turn the mirror on ourselves to look at, how is my relationship with my physical body, my mental body, my emotional body? We're always looking at other people. Well, how is my relationship with so-and-so, my friends, my partner, my family? Where those are great mirrors as how your relationship is with yourself. If there's a lot of turmoil in those outward relationships, it's just a reflection of those inward relationships. But the body does talk. You've always said too, Leg, it talks slowly, and it talks quietly, and it talks in different ways. And if there's a lot of interference, especially in our modern, fast-paced, constant stimulation society, you can't hear a darn thing when you're constantly stimulated, watching TV, caffeine going, all the noises. If you're never quiet, how can you hear or choose to listen, choose to tune in, choose to connect? There's a massive amount of interference that we're battling, even consciously, let alone all the unconscious ignorance, I guess is the right word, we have towards our own bodies.
Which, I mean, and it's so connected, so kind of back around to that where we began, it's so connected to the emotions, to the spiritual aspect of ourselves, to the planet, to God. And so if you are having a physical interference, then maybe there's that spiritual aspect that's saying, hey, you might want to pay attention to what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
So they're so intertwined.
Sometimes it's not that gentle either.
No, and I'm the classic. Like I'm not.
A little knock on the door, and then it's pounding, and then the house blows up.
Oh my gosh! I used to wait for the 2x4.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank goodness I don't need that anymore.
Yes, and it is true. I think in all things that we're here to learn and grow through, it doesn't have to be hard. I mean, it's work. A lot of times anything we do is work, but it doesn't have to be painful, I guess is the word. But if spirit can't get your attention in the little things, it's going to keep getting louder and louder and louder. And, sometimes we think horrible things do happen in the world. Horrible things do happen, and I wish that upon nobody. But many times it takes really hard things in order for you to ask the right questions, in order for you to make the right changes. Because when everything's smooth sailing and you're sitting on top of that mountain, you're not going to ask those questions.
Oh, does our faith really ever grow when everything's going swimmingly? Do we take the really tough class when we already know the information? No, it's when it's tough that we have we learn, and we remove that interference by going and learning, or deepening our faith, or saying, "Ooh, man, it might be time to clean up some of the things I've been doing to remove interference."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think, what are your thoughts on interference and distraction? Are they the same, or are they different? Or is it the interference that causes you to distract, or is it distractions that cause more interference? I guess it's kind of a chicken or the egg a lot of times too.
It can really be, which wasn't sure I was gonna bring this up, but I went to it was a day of love yesterday. So all my friends went to weddings, and then we all convened at a 10-year anniversary.
Oh.
And I'm a sober person, but I'll occasionally now, after 8.5 years, I'll have like one drink a year. And I feel very fine about it, which is in itself is so neat because I'm able to do that and then go, man. But it used to be very much a distraction. It was a distraction. It was an interference all over my life. But so anyway, so we're at this party and just surrounded by joy and love. And somebody shows up with this, it's a thing, peanut butter whiskey.
Peanut butter?
Peanut butter. I was like, well, I have to try a sip of that. And it was absolutely delicious. And I just shared some sips with my friend, and it didn't cause a distraction, and it wasn't an interference. And I was just kind of pondering this morning too. I'm like, how cool that it doesn't have to be either of the things anymore. It wasn't to be comfortable or to be disconnected or distracted or numb, and there doesn't have to be the guilt. It's just to like have an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I think that brings up such a good point too, is it's your intention behind everything. And if there is a ton of interference, then you're not going to have an intention and consciously go into these decisions with, this is my intention for this action, where it's all just kind of unconscious. I don't want to look inside. Where now you've gotten to a point in your life where you're like, let's dive in, give me more, give me more, give me more. The fear of what you're going to find inside isn't, I mean, we all carry it. I don't know that it ever goes away, but there's not the fear of just not looking. And I think I feel that a lot of times that's the reason we distract and create interference in our life, is it comes back to that first chakra, that survival, that fear of what you're going to find if you do dive into your heart too. And I will attest that it's a beautiful place. No matter how much shadows around you, it is worth going through that storm to find your authenticity. Whatever it looks like, it's always perfect.
Right. And it was just so neat. Somebody said to me, they're like, did I see you have a shot? I'm like, no, I had some sips.
Yeah.
Which is so joyful too, because they're just concerned, and it's all in love. And I can talk about it without being fearful of, other people saying, oh, you're not really sober. And I'm like, man, this is my path, my experience. The truth is that some people can't do it.
Yeah. Yes.
But I kind of forgot where I was going with that. But
well, it's interesting too. I think that, as much as people, when they do begin to release addiction, when they do begin to work on themselves too, how much they can identify with the exact opposite. I have a lot of clients who identify with their recovering alcoholic, and they've been recovering for 30, 40 years, but they're still saying that they're a recovering alcoholic. And I feel like that stunts a lot of your own perceptions of your own authenticity too underneath all of that. It's such an identification. It's like this stamp that gets put on you, and forever you're a recovering alcoholic. At what point are you recovered and your relationship with whatever it was has shifted and changed too?
Right. Yeah. Usually I like, because if you don't know, well, I love to play with words. I usually love because re is adding on, D is a subtraction, but is one where I do have that question. I go, well, how long are you going to recover the same story?
Yeah. Oh, it gets an attachment to that same story.
Mm-hmm.
So then it comes to shifting your own story completely and going into the neurological pathways. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So then I would say that then it might be an interference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, because we don't want to make these too long for all of you, Kayla, I had a question for you. So, you have mentioned in some of our workshops and classes about how as we move into this beautiful time, we're in this time of ascension, that we are moving, well, actually, we're restoring, we're restoring the 12 strands of DNA that was our original blueprint. So we have two, but where do you think that fits in with removing
So
interference?
yeah, a lot of what I see too is we have two activated strands of DNA, but we have 12 together. And scientists have acknowledged this. It's you can go read the literature, but they call the other 10 strands of DNA junk DNA because there's nothing it's doing supposedly. Also, I don't think anything in our bodies is junk, but I do see that as these new energies and new vibrations are hitting the planet. I mean, the planet is ascending and we're all feeling it, whether you're conscious of it or not. Everyone is feeling it. And I feel that what's happening is we're moving into a lighter body. We're activating more aspects of our divine potential, specifically physically as well. We're actually, our cellular structures are changing. And as we activate these other 10 strands of DNA, it's so that we could take our bodies with us through ascension. And I think, what I see with it is we live in a denser reality. And that's fact right now. But as we move into 4D, 5D, love and above, as we start to expand greater, and we start to activate these other 10 strands so that we meet our full human potential. Because we are only at a fraction, 2/12, I guess you could say, of what our body can potentially do. And so the denser energies also cause interference, I believe. And what I see is the denser energies cause interference that keeps us from realizing or remembering our absolute human potential. And I see that, teletransporting and all these other things are totally accessible to the human body once we get to that point too. Once we start to be able to activate these other strands and these other potentials that the human body and on multiple levels has as well.
Thank you. That was really beautifully put.
It's exciting.
It's super exciting. So, what's a couple things that our listeners could do to lighten up? I mean, I could think of wearing bright colors. I specifically put on this bright orange. I'm not really an orange person, but I did have one. And
Be in the light, literally outside in the sunlight, in the moonlight, in the starlight. Saturate yourself in the light. That's how you begin to lighten up. And I always say what you put in your body, what you put on your body, and the thoughts in your head are the big things that can lead to clarity or interference.
yeah, so lighter foods like fruits, fresh fruits, especially. Maybe you even you go, oh, I'm gonna pick an orange. Well, an orange.
Yeah.
Or
And in the summer is a great time for lighter foods. There's more sunlight, there's more fresh fruits available, more vegetables available. So eating with the seasons too, and being consciously aware of what's in season. It grows on the planet in a specific time for a specific reason, and our bodies are no different. They change and ebb and flow with the energy of the seasons as well.
Beautiful.
And sleep.
Sleep. Yes, sleep. One of my favorites.
good quality sleep. Not only do our bodies need light, but they need rest too.
Yeah, even in summer with the long summer hours.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I know.
If you have questions, there's the email link in our channel. Please leave us comments, questions. You can email us or just in the comment section, whatever platform you're watching this on, and let us know maybe your favorite things that you are going to try to lighten up as we move into these higher vibrations and a lighter, not only frequency, but density.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
We'll see you next time at Life at Love and Above.